Hi guys, welcome in. I hope you all are doing all right. My name is Brianna, and this is going to be a general collective message where I will be utilizing just a few different decks, both tarot and oracle decks, as well as incorporating some of the current astrology to deliver a message for you guys. I've already pulled out some cards, and the message on the table is one of completion. The first card out is the Ten of Pentacles, and this card talks about the successful completion of a spiritual process, right? The Ten of Pentacles is the last 10 in the deck, so it's like moving through all of the stages, through all of the lessons, the levels, and finally reaching a point of completion, right? I've also been talking a lot about how we've reached, what have I been talking about? We've reached the end of like a spiritual work assignment, right? Collectively, we are concluding a work assignment, a task, a lesson that we've been working on for quite some time is in the process of coming to a closure, right? We're right at the end of it. You may have felt like it's already ended, right? It's already done, but we're still like in between, tying up loose strings for this past cycle and preparing to move into this new cycle, the Fool. So the Fool is the next card out, which talks about like springtime, fresh new starts, new beginnings, optimism, hope, and positivity for the future. Whatever we're moving into, we're taking the wisdom, right? The wisdom, the skill, the expertise that we've gathered from a previous cycle, and we're going to be using that, let's do it this way, using that to cultivate our new foundation, right? So we're taking what we've gathered and using that or applying that to build, create something new. The Ten of Pentacles also talks about like ascended mastery. Mercury in Virgo. Mercury is the exalted one, and Virgo is expertise and mastery. So in this energy, whatever you've gathered, you've become an ascended master in that area. So you're taking your mastery, your wisdom, your expertise, your gifts. This can even be like a more integrated version of self, right? A more integrated version of self. The Page of Pentacles also talks about renewal, rebirth, and reincarnation, right? So it's like starting over, starting fresh, but you're not starting from the beginning, right? Because the Page of Pentacles, even though he's a page, right? He's a Page of Pentacles, and the Pentacles are the last suit in the deck, right? So even though he is a page, he's still ascended, right? He's been through the fire, he's been through the water, he's been through air, right? He's gathered a lot of wisdom in his own right. So this could be about like being reborn or like reintroduced to the world, Earth, reintroduced to the world as this like more integrated version of self, right? We also have the Page of Pentacles. I'm sorry. We also have the Page of Cups. So we have the Page of Pentacles and the Page of Cups. So whatever you're carrying with you, this expertise, let's just call the Pentacle the expertise, right? The wisdom, the mastery, whatever you're carrying with you, you're going to be using that to create both a material foundation for yourself as well as an emotional foundation. So all of this is giving me completion of a spiritual process, successful initiation. I I feel like you've been through the fire, right? You've been through the water. You've been through air. Air is giving like psychic realm. So you've traveled a great distance in order to be rebirthed, reborn as this more, maybe just a more comfortable, committed, stable version of yourself. I'm seeing these two cards here at the bottom of the deck. We've got gift and union. Gift and union. Union is coming together, right? It could be you coming together. No, it's not you coming together with anyone else. It's you coming together with yourself, right? Agreement, internal harmony. I feel like this is a gift from you to you, like a gift that you've given yourself. I feel like this is the ultimate gift that you can give to yourself, because if you have nothing else, right? If you have nothing else, no material resources, no support, nothing, right? Nothing but you. Wouldn't you want you to be like the most like stable, mature, grounded, sensible, skilled version of yourself, right? With this, you can do anything, right? You can do anything. And it's like, even if everything else around you is crashing down, right? Even if the world goes kaput, you still have this, you still have you, right? You still have your skills, your expertise, your qualities, right? And that, in that instance, that makes you a master, right? A leader, the most grounded, sensible person. I'm seeing unity here. Unity and independence, right? The most grounded, sensible, wise one of the entire group, right? That makes you the leader, right? Everyone will turn to you because you seem like you've got everything together, or people will see that you've got everything together. So I said all that to say that this is the ultimate gift that you can give to yourself, this union, this integration, right? Okay, guys, I feel like this energy, this 10 of Pentacles full energy, is going to be the energy that we're moving into, right? This completion of a spiritual process, receiving the results and rewards from that spiritual process, and then carrying that into a new cycle to cultivate a new foundation for ourselves, both materially and spiritually, right? We're going to be using what we've gathered to cultivate a new material and spiritual, emotional foundation for ourselves. And we're going to be doing this from this perspective, or from this level of ascended mastery. I don't know if I talked about it, but the 10 of Pentacles often gives me like the energy of an ascendant master because of Mercury and Virgo. Mercury is the exalted one, right? It's our highest, most exalted self, and Virgo is the master, the perfectionist, right? So the 10 of Pentacles often talks to me about being or becoming an ascendant master. So, and we also have like this wise old man right here, the wise one. So it's like taking our mastery, this mastered version of self, this integrated version of self, union of the spiritual and the physical. We're taking that and we're going to be cultivating something brand new from this elevated perspective. I feel like it feels potent and powerful. It feels like magician energy, magi energy. You may be able to manifest instantly or do things that you previously weren't capable of doing. But that's as we move through this process, right? We're currently in between this and that. We're still moving through the bardo, transitioning from one thing into the next. But right now, in this energy, we are navigating the tower, right? This is our current energy. In one of my recent posts, I talked about how Mars was making a 0-degree square to Pluto, which was generating like this tower energy. So this is where we are now. When you take into consideration some of the current astrology that we have going on right now, you guys, we have the Sun in Gemini making a trine to Pluto in Aquarius. Now, a trine is typically a harmonious aspect, right? It's like harmonious and supportive, but it really just depends on the energies involved. And whenever Pluto is involved, we're working with shadow energies, right? Because Pluto is the lord of the underworld. So the Sun is the amplifier, the illuminator. It's like a flashlight. So the Sun making this trine to Pluto in Aquarius is going to be like highlighting, amplifying, and exposing the shadow self, right? So this is like all of that stuff. This is like our own personal shadow. So it's like the Sun is the flashlight shining into our own personal underworlds, and we are maybe feeling, experiencing a lot of fear, a lot of worry, a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, maybe even the urge to just like drop everything and run and hide. It's like, are you afraid of the dark, right? But the darkness is just this stuff that's been suppressed within your subconscious. So the Sun is highlighting, amplifying, exposing our shadow self, right? I said that we may be feeling an urge to run and hide, right? But Spirit wants us to, High Priestess, Spirit wants us to see. It's like, what's in here? I'm getting like Pandora's box energy. Curiosity, exploration. It's like seeking the truth amidst chaos. So Spirit doesn't want us to run and hide. Spirit wants us to see. The High Priestess generally talks about like a strong psychic connection to the unseen. The High Priestess is very comfortable within the shadow realm. She's done a lot of personal subconscious exploration, so she's not afraid of the dark. If the question here is, are you afraid of the dark? The High Priestess is not afraid of the dark, right? That's why she's able to see. So like when you have this tendency or this urge to turn and run away and hide from your shadow, then you can't see. You don't see it, right? You can't see in the dark. But when you look at it, then you'll be able to like not untangle. It's more about balance, right? We do have the Six of Pentacles here, which talks about balance and moderation. So Spirit wants us to not run, not hide, not look away from our fear, our worry, and our stress, but look at it. What am I doing here? Yeah, look at it. The Nine of Wands is the wounded warrior. So these are like some of those wounded aspects of ourselves. Spirit wants us to see and balance, right? Put things right in this energy. And maybe this is also a gift, but I'm feeling more like this is an initiation, right? An initiation into completion. So we have to move through this tower energy in order to get to this new beginning, the full energy. This is kind of where I stopped pulling cards, so we're going to continue to pull cards on screen. Let me see what else we have going on astrologically. So we have the moon in Libra. The moon in Libra desires balance, harmony, and justice for self, right? We have the moon in Libra making a square to Pluto in Aquarius. A square is like a fight, right? So Pluto is fighting our emotional subconscious, or maybe our emotional subconscious is fighting Pluto. No. Pluto is fighting our emotional subconscious. Wounded warrior. So we may feel especially sensitive, triggered, or wounded in this energy. We also have the moon in Libra opposite Chiron in Aries. This is Chiron right here, feeling extremely wounded and vulnerable. So the moon wants balance, ease, but it's challenged by the wounded shadow. And this is like our shadow self, the wounded shadow self. Pluto's influence is heavy today, you guys. If you look at the chart for today, Pluto is making a lot of aspects, or a lot of energies are aspecting Pluto. So there's a lot of like shadow energy to work through. Pluto typically represents like power struggles and systems of control. So you may feel like something is wanting to like dominate you or oppress you or just like scare the shit out of you. Pluto energy also talks about like manipulation and sabotage and abuse, right? So Pluto's energy may be manifesting as like external forces attempting to like, it's really like, are you afraid of the dark? Like scare you into submission. So just be mindful of your fears. And fear doesn't always manifest as like, I'm scared. Sometimes it manifests as like turning away, like I don't want to do this anymore, or I don't care, or you know what, I'm just going to give up, right? Could also manifest as poverty consciousness, like feeling a lack of energy, like I don't have enough to do this. I don't have enough resources, enough energy, enough power to manifest, right? Fake news. This is fake news, right? Because you have more than enough. You have more than enough. You are an ascended master, right? But this Pluto energy may be pushing you down, making you feel like you don't have enough to get through. You don't have enough to carry on. You don't have enough to manifest this desire, right? Moving relocation. Moving could be, I feel like this is like traveling through dimensions, higher dimensions, lower dimensions. So maybe you have this desire to ascend into higher dimensional experiences, but Pluto is suppressing, pushing you down, making you feel like this poverty consciousness. I can't do it. I give up. All right, let's see what else we have. Calling on the spirits of my angels, my ancestors, and my guides, my cosmic family, my star family, my soul family, beautiful goddesses, gods and deities who love, support, and protect me, most qualified and benevolent spirits of my angels, my ancestors, and my guides. What's going on in this energy? No illusion, confusion, or delusion, no tricks or energies. Show me clearly and concisely. What does the collective need to know? Okay, so we have a few cards, 4 cards that came out. The first card is surrender. Surrender says complete release of control, let go. But at the bottom here it says embrace discomfort and fear, sit in the unknown. That's the queen, not the queen, that's the high priestess's energy. She embraces discomfort and fear. It's like energies, entities, spirits may be using your fear against you in this energy, right? If you are afraid to look at something, then that something becomes bigger and more scary, right? But once you look at it, it turns into a mouse. It turns into a mouse. So it's like when you shine the light in the darkness, the light is your awareness. When you shine a light in the darkness flees, or maybe it becomes smaller. So refusing to look at the fear, maybe there is like someone manifesting in your reality, maybe not someone, maybe an experience of like lack and poverty, or could be anything, right? Could be anything, something that you're afraid to look at. I don't want to look at that. It's scary. I don't want to go there. I don't care. Just let it be what it is. If you refuse to look at it, then it becomes bigger, right? And more intimidating. But if you embrace it and look at it, it becomes smaller, right? Smaller, more manageable. And then it's like, oh, it's just this. It's only this. You can handle it, whatever it is. You have the resources, not just the resources, but the wisdom, the skill, and the expertise to handle whatever it is, right? The next card that came out is Holes, like the movie Holes. This card talks about fate and destiny, being in the right place at the right time. It talks about alignment and overcoming challenges and adversity, but it talks about solving a riddle, right? If you remember in the movie Holes, he had to like solve this riddle, solve this, it's like a curse on his family, like a generational curse that he had to solve. But it's like breaking the curse unlocks your divine inheritance. It's like when he broke the curse, he carried the boy up the mountain. He broke the curse and then the rain returned. So breaking the curse, solving the riddle, unlocks your divine inheritance. This is your divine inheritance, right? It could be material resources, abundance, or it could be this new, it could just be freedom, right? The freedom to move on and live like a comfortable, stable, prosperous, happy life, right? So once you solve the riddle, whatever this riddle is, then you unlock your inheritance. It's going to be different for each of us, right? But you'll know where to look by your fear, right? Whatever you're like, no, I don't want to see it, I don't want to look at it, it's too uncomfortable. That's where you're supposed to be looking, right? So it's like going into the wound to heal it, moderate, make adjustments, going into the wound. What we have here, perceiving into the wound to heal it, to solve the riddle. The next 2 cards that we have are everything is aligning perfectly, and process of separation. Okay, so process of separation talks about like pulling apart, drawing poison out from a wound. Painful and triggering, yes. We have these two cards here to prove it. It may be painful and triggering, but it's a necessary process. Everything is aligning perfectly. I'm getting like 1, 2, 3, 4, the divine order of things, right? Everything has an order. This thing must end before this thing can begin, yada, yada, yada. Timeline collapse is on this card. Timeline collapse in between realms. So while we're in this void space, where did I see that? Void space, sit in the unknown. We're in between timelines, in this void space. Spirit wants us to alchemize, pull the poison out so that we can align ourselves with whatever this is, right? Whatever this is. We also have the full moon in Sagittarius on May 31st. Full moon in Sagittarius on May 31st. It's a blue moon. Blue moons typically talk about like the grand finale. Okay, this is the grand finale, right? It's like a major closure, tying up loose ends so that we can close this chapter and then open the next chapter, right? Sagittarius is an energy of like questing for truth. Sagittarius is the temperance in the tarot, and the temperance talks about balance, harmony, alchemy. It's about like getting yourself, your spirit together so that you can move forward powerfully, right? So it's about like cleansing, releasing, letting go of scorpionic energy, right? So maybe you've been in the valley of shadows. That's what this is giving. So we're cleansing, we're releasing, we're alchemizing in this energy so that we can move into Sagittarian energy. Sagittarius talks about like expansion, right? Expansion, truth, harmony, balance. So we're cleaning up right now before forward movement. Okay, you guys? Let's see what else we have. Which deck should I use? Let's go here. What else do you have, Spirit? I see rose tinted glasses here. Rose tinted glasses, which talks about like ignoring the signs, or ignoring something that Spirit wants you to see. This is going back to that like I don't want to look at it energy. Spirit wants you to see something clearly. Battle wound. PTSD, stress management, overcoming the self. We've got cocoon, rest and nurture. This is about taking care of yourself. And then we have daydream, dream come true. Rest and nurture, take care of yourself, because a dream is coming true. Rest and nurture is also giving like healing, right? Healing a battle wound. That's going back to what I was saying about Sagittarius energy. Sagittarius is a sign that comes after Scorpio. Scorpio is like an underworld water sign, right? Scorpio is the water that flows through the underworld. So this is like our emotional underworld, our emotional subconscious. Scorpionic energy is typically very intense and triggering, right? So maybe this is about like alchemizing those battle wounds, right? The energies that we picked up in this process of gaining wisdom, skill, and expertise. It probably goes back further than that, deeper than that, with the Nine of Wands. The Nine of Wands typically talks about like core wounds, right? Chiron wounds. I see prison at the bottom of the deck, self-imposed limitations. Anything else? Heartache, mental anguish, agent. Hold on, my headphones went off. Okay. So we have heartache, mental anguish. Heartache represents the emotional pain that comes from learning the harsh truth of the situation, disappointment, cruelty, loss, betrayal, rejection. Heartache is matching up with this Nine of Wands energy. I feel like this is the battle wound energy that Spirit wants us to alchemize. Something that hurts your heart. It's deep. Maybe something that you've been carrying your entire lifetime. We have agent, active, opposition. So this is like matrix agents. Maybe like triggering. I talked about this in the last reading. Like triggering this wound. To make you feel small, to make you feel wounded, to make you feel like you aren't an ascendant master, right? But you are. So the matrix agent is like a chaos causer, antagonist. When we think about the movie The Matrix, right, we remember how negative forces were able to body hop, right? Jump into different vessels. So this could be someone, this matrix agent could be someone who has like close and intimate access to you, right? They know how to cause heartache and trigger these battle wounds. They know how to trigger your wounds, trigger and manipulate your wounds. When we go back to that like plutonic energy, we think about Pluto is the lord of the underworld, right? And in the underworld, things aren't always fair. They don't always like play by the rules or by the book, right? So there may be like manipulation. There may be some manipulation going on, some abuse going on, being carried out by this chaos causer, this matrix agent. The last card out is Money Tree. Money Tree, financial growth, which is going back to the Ten of Pentacles, right? Prosperity, windfall, harvest, payout. Ugh. I feel like this is the, if we go back to that holes card, right? It's the divine inheritance, everything that you're working for. So it's like breaking the curse, The curse has everything to do with this battle wound, heartache, agent energy. Someone is actively sending you chaos, conflict, warfare, right? Warfare, triggering your deepest wounds. This is intentional. I feel like Spirit is allowing this because it tests your character, it tests your growth, or it strengthens your character, it tests your mastery, right? Maybe you don't want to do this anymore. Maybe you don't care, but that's like that fear manifesting as like, I don't want to do this, I don't care, I give up, I just want peace and comfort, right? I feel like peace and comfort is maybe closer than any of us might realize. Okay, so we have boundaries. Protect your interest. Protect your interest. Maybe this isn't about completely healing this Chiron wound, right? Because in my personal opinion, we never fully heal this wound. We just become more aware of it. We realize when it's being triggered, right? And we do more to protect it, right? Like a child, we want to protect this aspect of ourselves because it's probably just our wounded inner child, right? So maybe it's not about fully healing this wound because maybe this wound never fully heals. Maybe it's more about protecting it from this opposition, right? Like I mentioned before, when we don't address the fear or the antagonist that is poking at our wounds, when we don't address it, then it feels empowered, like it has more power than it actually does. Like it has more power to try to hurt you or wound you. But when you look at it, like, I see you. I see what you're doing. Maybe you don't have to physically say anything. You just have to hold this awareness. Like, I know what's going on. I see what's happening here. These energies, these agents are attempting to trigger and manipulate this wounded aspect of me. And I'm going to protect this aspect of myself, right? The next two cards out are surrender and victim card. So I feel like this is like surrendering victim mentality because you are not a victim. You are not a victim. You're actually an ascended master, right? You have established wisdom, skill, and expertise in whatever this warfare is going on, right? So surrender this victim mentality. And I feel like I am always under divine inspiration. I see clearly and act quickly, and my greatest expectations manifest in miraculous ways. I am always under divine inspiration. I see clearly and act quickly, and my greatest expectations manifest in miraculous ways. We also have supernatural angelic assistance. Mystical forces are paving the way for you. You may experience miraculous events that seem unexplainable or even impossible. So, and then look at this. I banish the past and live in the wonderful now, where happy surprises come to me each day. So I feel like these are messages or just confirmations that I feel like there's a choice between more warfare or moving into this thing that you've been manifesting. It's going to be different for each of us, but you know what it is for you, right? So the choice is like this or this, this or this. feeling small, wounded, and victimized, or feeling like the ascended master you are, this frequency or this frequency, the challenge is, goodness gracious, the moon. We have the moon in illusion. I'm not sure what's going on with Neptune, but there may be like illusions being cast over your moon, like your emotional subconscious. The moon talks about deep emotional healing. This card says the moon illuminates our repressed feelings and encourages us to face the root cause of our pain. If you are experiencing an emotional difficulty, the moon is a reminder to practice self-compassion and rely on the guidance of your intuition. Self-compassion is going back to that like cocoon energy, rest and nurture. So it's like protecting these wounded aspects of yourself and relying on the guidance of your intuition. We had moon, illusion, and path. Path is spiritual evolution, or the evolution of your soul. The evolution of your soul. So on your path, you are facing some illusion around your moon energy, and this illusion is probably making you feel like poverty consciousness, wounded, small, like a victim, or like you don't have enough. Let's move on to another deck. Any messages from this deck? What do we need to know from this deck? We have the cat. We have the ring. We have the heart. And we have the prison. We have the inner child. Okay, so we have the cat. The cat talks about psychic sensitivity, hyper awareness, and intuition, right? That's high priestess energy all over again. So rely on your instincts and your intuition. Rely on your instincts and intuition to guide you to this ring, this promise, which is going back to this 10 of Pentacles energy. The ring, the promise, is giving inheritance. This belongs to you by cosmic law, right? By divine decree, cosmic law, cause and effect. You've done this work. You've gained this mastery, this skill, this expertise, and there is a payout, a reward, or a result for that, right? Results and rewards. I feel like you're on the path to that. You're on the path to receiving these results and rewards, but on the path, there's this challenge, this opposition, these matrix agents, these chaos causers trying to make you feel, or wanting to make you feel, it's like trapping your heart in a prison, or making you feel emotionally trapped. Trapped in a wound, trapped in pain, making you feel trapped in pain. We have the child, which is a number 13. The child talks about unmet needs, unresolved emotion, which is connecting to this 9 of Wands card, unresolved emotion. Right after that, we have the evolved version of the child, right? So it's like evolving from this unresolved emotion into this rich gentleman, right? The rich gentleman gives like going from feeling unseen, restricted, and rejected to feeling rich in spirit. This is going back to that energy I was talking about towards the beginning of the reading, that gift of union, right? Coming into union with yourself. Going from feeling unseen, rejected, and restricted to feeling whole, balanced, powerful, stable, right? This energy is crazy, man. Okay, so we have the woman in the bouquet. The woman talks about our feminine energy. The bouquet talks about bounty, abundance. These two cards together are giving me Empress energy. Empress energy, the ability to align, attract, and manifest abundance easily and effortlessly. We also have clarity. This is like ascending into or receiving a promotion, being promoted into your path, onto your path. So again, this is giving like initiation energy. We have the stars in high honor. The stars represent path, purpose, and prophecy. Path, purpose, and prophecy. High honor represents like promotion, reward, award, and achievement. So these two cards together are talking about being initiated, or maybe just like granted access into this prophecy, this inheritance, right? What's rightfully yours, but it's gonna come through, I want to say like a stable, balanced, integrated, established internal realm. And then these two cards are talking about the external or the outward manifestation or display of that, right? So it's like going from here to here. Okay, let's get a message from this card. From this deck. And then we'll close out. Any messages from this deck? Okay. Fury, the angry one. Destruction. What is this fury? Purity. The heavenly one. Illumination, full moon. Okay. What is fury? The angry one. What is fury? This could be that plutonic energy, internal plutonic energy, your own anger, bitterness, fear, stress, worry, anxiety. Again, like going from this to this is like traveling dimensions from lower dimensions into higher dimensional experiences. So this could be your energy, and moving from one experience to another. I see darkness here, a difficult period. Profound healing takes place in the shadows. Profound healing takes place in the shadows. Persevering through adversity will lead to radical personal transformation. Maybe that's what this is. From darkness into purity. We've got the Lamb. From darkness into purity. And then we've got mastery, extensive knowledge or skill. So I feel like we're moving through the bardo, right? Transitioning from one dimension into another, transitioning from one reality into another. On this path, there's plenty of like opposition, conflict, and challenges, but if you persevere, right? If you move through it, protecting yourself, protecting those wounded aspects of yourself, practicing awareness, not running from the dark, not running from what you're afraid of, there is a promise of completion, results, rewards, and inheritance. Okay, that's all I have for you guys. I hope this message was helpful, and I'll see you all on the next one.